On today's episode, the Cubs defeat the Phillies. We get into comments made over the weekend by pitching coach Tommy Hottovy and a whole lot more on this exciting edition of Locked On Cubs.
Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Cubs alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Pleased to be with you for a Wednesday episode as the Cubs defeat the Phillies 3-1 in the first game of their series on Tuesday night. We also have comments from Tommy Hottovy we're going to go over, and we preview myself going to the Cubs game later in the show. I'm going on Wednesday night. I am already prepping my clothing. Sam, how's it going there? You do have some Phillies red on. You know I love that hat.
Are you wearing a sweater?
No, I'm wearing like a no, it's like not sweater season.
Quarter zip. Quarter zip.
Yeah, it's like an athletic quarter zip.
Nice.
Like a dry fit. Because you know I'm not athletic.
I never said that.
I was. But that changed about 3 years ago. All right.
Cubs win 2-1 today. Stroman with now back-to-back really dominant outings at the friendly confines. And you know, with Philly's season on the line, I mean, these are really important games for them. Luckily for them, St. Louis is beating down Milwaukee as we speak. But a really important game for Philadelphia on a really cold, blistery night at Wrigley. Stroman dominates. As I said in my now recap, Christopher Morel with one of those swings of the bats that just reminds you how tantalizing his skill set is and his tools. Hitting the ball to the opposite field tonight for a home run off Zach Wheeler, there's probably maybe 100 people in the whole universe that could do that.
Maybe less.
And so that was pretty cool to see. Gomes continues his hot second half. Was nice to see Contreras back there. Should see Suzuki tomorrow. Really excited about that. And just all good with this team. If the season was a month longer, they'd be a 90-win club.
Yeah, they certainly are playing very well. It's very enjoyable to see. Stroman has been really good. He's had probably 2 or 3 clunkers in the second half. One I was actually at.
That was going to be a Cubs Nationals till.
It was, and then he was bad against the Cardinals. I think there was maybe one more time, but that's really it. And so
yeah, he's been good. He's been exactly who he's supposed to be. I mean,
we've talked about him, but he's definitely stepped up a bit, if you could call it that, in this type of year.
The only nitpicky thing I'd say is that next year you just want him to be better earlier because the games that he's been good, unfortunately for him, haven't really mattered that much, but that's out of his control. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Pitch bad on purpose? No, he's been good. He's been good. I expect him to be good. If he finishes next year with like a 3.50, as long as he doesn't have clunker after clunker in April and we're still around, we'll be good. He's done a nice job.
Yeah, and the walks were down today. Just 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He threw a lot of pitches, which he should be able to.
And not to overdo it, but I think he'll be, if the Cubs are good, he'll be a really good late season pitcher because cold weather is good for him. He's a sinker baller. So he's not the type of guy that when it's blowing out at Wrigley, it's hard for him to keep the ball in the park if that sinker's not sinking. He's similar to Hendricks in that respect where, 60 and below, wind howling in, he can make a couple of mistakes and they're not punished to go out of the ballpark. He's going to be pretty good. What I'm trying to say is that he'll make a nice postseason at Wrigley.
And he's going to bring the energy too. Do you buy into that at all, or you just want to see him pitch well?
Pitch well is fine for me.
Okay. Cool. I appreciate his energy.
Yeah. Okay.
Brandon Hughes walked Kyle Schwarber in the top of the 8th, but then got the double play.
Did you see
the inning?
Did you see Ross do the whole bit with the booing Schwarber? Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I was going to respond or maybe
already.
Tweet, but I didn't want to be outed.
Yeah, enough.
And then Manny Rodriguez closed the game down, as Boog called a man rod.
Yeah, and that will not be happening next season.
Right. Yeah, he will not be the closer.
No.
But fun for now. Morel almost hit another home run in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah.
Center field, Brandon Marsh had a nice change of direction catch on a fly ball. Hap with 2 more hits tonight. So
But
all around a good night. What was with brisk temperatures? May we
would like
add.
to see Horner get a base hit tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited that
I
these
can't believe
these
they're
last
going.
7-8 games you're gonna have everybody back except Madrigal, as we got the news pregame that he's out for the year.
Yeah, and that's
Unfortunate.
it's concerning.
Right. Well, I didn't think he was going to come back.
Nah, just he's not like I said on another show, and I mean this. I'm just being honest. He's not a good enough player to be this injury prone.
Right.
He's not. So we'll see what happens. But,
yeah, let's get Horner back into the 290s. Would be nice to see him do that tomorrow night.
Well, let's have him go 15 for his last 30 and finish at 300.
Oh my gosh. Is that what he would have to do for 300?
Have a nice beef at the. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Anything else really from this ball game?
Yeah, I'll say one more thing. I don't think it's going to take much for the Cubs to be better than a team like Philly.
Wow.
I really don't. I mean, when you look at their team, okay, obviously Harper's better than anybody the Cubs have. Schwarber's a 220 hitter that hits a bunch of homers.
He's a slugger.
They don't have a guy like that, but he doesn't have any. He doesn't hit. Castellanos has been terrible for them this year. They're awful defensively. Philadelphia.
Real Muto's good.
They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Yeah, no, and they have a lot of really good players on face value. But when I watch them play, you could shortcut them with some really good defense. Get a couple pitchers. Cubs will be right there at this club.
I love it. Yeah, it's going to be cool to see some of their players the next couple of days, but they really position themselves in a bad way. I mean, it's nice that they can kind of scoreboard watch tonight and go, hey, the team that's right behind us is getting shut out by a lot, but they're not doing their jobs. And
they're not a threat. You can't win World Series when you're that poor defensively.
No, boy, are they poor. And speaking of defense, Zach McKinstry made an error in the top of the first of this game.
Yeah, top of the first of this game, little bobble and threw it in the dirt. It reminds me of Chuck Knobloch.
Really, that bad?
I mean, no, not that bad. It's exaggeration for it's comedy for our listeners. For those that don't know, Chuck Knobloch had a throwing problem. It was mental, kind of like how Lester couldn't throw to first, except Chuck Knobloch actually played second base, so that's a real problem. McKinstry, the throws at third they're not VR bad, of course. Let's not go down that road.
Right.
No,
we're not going to take that.
One of the worst signings in franchise history.
Yeah,
no, it makes Milton Bradley look like Ted Williams.
Oh no, you got all the lines tonight.
No. It's a Tuesday. I tell you, Matt, it feels very brisk and fall out.
I know it does.
I'm almost like a little fatigued.
Really?
Yeah, it just
took a lot out of you think?
Yeah, well, it's with the Jewish holidays, it gets a little tiring.
Right. And happy holidays, by the way.
I ate a lot of turkey.
Oh, well, yeah, that's going to put that could do it.
Yeah, Yeah, right.
Getting to the Cubs potentially.
You have a really good color today.
Surpassing the Phillies and other clubs. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's going to be impacted by the starting pitching.
I feel like a midget.
And we get to that coming up next. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. The process is this. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward convos, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the US of A and prepared, shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, of course. So if you can benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free. When you use our promo code LOCKEDON at checkout, just pay the $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code LOCKEDON to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Entering Tuesday's game, the Cubs starting pitching ERA of 3.15 is third best in MLB in the second half. Stroman brought that down today by a lot, actually. And pitching coach Tommy Hottovy, Sam, who's had a number of roles with the organization, even prior to being promoted to pitching coach a couple of years ago, spoke over the weekend and said that the front office and the coaching staff have already started discussing names of pitchers who they could acquire in the offseason.
It's no secret. It's no secret the Cubs are going to add on Rodon, whoever it's going to be, Senga,
Player X,
Ohtani, DeGrom. Who could it be, Matt? I don't know. If I were a gambling man, I'd say Carlito Rodon. But I don't know.
Could it be Aaron Nola, Wednesday starter for the Phillies?
I hope not. I want a guy that I know when he steps on that mound, he's going to be missing bats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think they're going to get him. And then I saw a leak today, too, about something with the Twins and Correa.
Unless you're fasting and don't eat breakfast.
Like you. Folks, Matt hasn't
what was that about Correa?
Matt hasn't had a full meal before noon since Bill Clinton was in charge. Okay. What was I saying? Correa.
That was Correa, I believe, the shortstop.
Yeah. So,
former Astro.
It's good. Look, if you were to tell me right now, Sam, you got to pick who the Cubs going to get, I'd say Correa and Rodon.
That's who you want, or that's your instinct of who they're going to acquire?
That's my prediction. I'm good with any. As long as it's a top-tier pitcher and one of those three guys, I'm good with it.
Any of those shortstops I'm good with.
Yeah, like I said, I can make the case for one. They're all really good. I mean, I was just looking at Correa's numbers today. The guy's got a WAR above 5. His OPS is in the 830s. He's back to playing really good short. He profiles long-term as the third baseman. I mean, it's a fantastic acquisition. I think he wants to play in a big market. Minnesota's a boring city. Minneapolis. I don't think he enjoys himself there.
I enjoyed Minneapolis this summer when I was there.
Yeah, sure. Summer for a weekend. Nobody wants to live there. They're not a good team. I think the Cubs will be better than the Twins next year.
For sure.
Everything's falling together. The only reason I'm not in the
falling like the leaves.
The only thing but it's a poor one. The only thing I'm not. The only reason I'm not more chipper is because it's not even October yet. We don't get to reap the benefits. It'll be a little bit of a celebratory time when we make these moves, and then we don't get to reap the benefits until March 30th.
Well, yeah, it's October. At 1:20. It's October on Saturday.
Right. Oh yeah, it's late. Did I say mid? It's late September. Boy, where did September go?
That's Green Day.
Okay, Mateo.
I'm going to have to clip that one.
Wake me up when September. But I don't want September to end because my football teams are a combined 5-2.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's a lot to look forward to then.
Right.
And we might be attending a football game together, but we're going to get to that on another episode.
We'll get to that in another episode, but there could be something special brewing for this episode a week from this Saturday.
That's a teaser, folks. You can check your own schedules for that.
Yeah, but in summation, Hottovy said something about a pitcher. We're going to get pitchers. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you this: if we don't,
I have a pretty massive quote from him when you're done here.
If we don't get a free agent pitcher and we don't get one of these shortstops, I don't know how I'll be able to look this camera in the eye because I basically promised it to all our listeners.
No, that wouldn't be a fun show.
I think I'd have to think about resigning.
That would be tough. That would be real tough.
Right.
Let's see. Are we doing prediction theater? I'm going to say Bogarts and Senga right now.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
the prediction you're going to make?
That's my prediction. I know people aren't going to like me for it.
No. I see. This is one thing I don't like. I make a little thing like I'm not gonna like you for it. I just can't believe you go Bogarts and Senga. It's just kind of like
trying to stir the pot.
Yeah, right. You like to just play a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. It's a good time for some chili as well.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
Hottovy had this pretty big quote. He said, "The more pitchers, the better. As an organization, what you can't do is assume they're all going to throw 150, 160,
Right.
170 innings. With this group of young guys we've seen, Assad, Keegan, Adbert, Killian, Wisniewski,
Right.
to expect them to throw 180 innings next year is probably a little bit lofty of a goal. That shows you how important it is to have guys that could come in and eat up innings and be good starting pitchers instead of making those younger pitchers the focal point," end quote.
I don't want innings eaters, though. I want studs.
Right.
I want a stud.
Yeah, it's time for a cookie, I think.
I want a stud.
Yeah.
I want a guy that goes out there, strikes out 12 in 6 innings, and I don't even blink an eye, and I continue going on with my July 4th festivity.
Right. Yeah, no, you're like sneaking, you're hovering over the TV or the radio on a nice summer day.
I want a guy that every time he steps on the mound, I feel like there's no hit potential.
Wow. Yes.
One of those guys.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about,
Noah Syndergaard or
Assad.
Or Manaea. Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, Assad, right.
Not Manaea.
Really? Because you mentioned him early, though.
Yeah, and then since I mentioned him, he gives up 8 runs every start.
He's got a 9 ERA since we mentioned him.
No, I don't want a guy like that. Unless he's saying, "Hey, I really like Wrigley Field. I want to sign a 1-year deal for $4.5 million," and then it allows you to go get another stud, then fine. But if he's looking for a big contract, absolutely not. Not with the campaign he's had, and he pitches at a very pitcher-friendly park.
And is Senga looking for a big contract? Because maybe you could get Ohtani in a trade and Senga in a free agent acquisition.
Yeah, right. And then you can get Fukudome back.
Right. He just retired, so that's not going to happen.
No, I don't. I think it's one pitcher, one big pitcher
plus marginal moves.
Yeah. No. One big pitcher, one big position player, marginal moves.
Gotcha. No, I think it's a good recipe, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think the biggest thing with that pitching conversation, as we've said before, you see some pitching depth at the big league level, but especially in the minor leagues is where it's at now. Something they lacked for so long.
Isn't that funny how that works? For that. Something they've lacked for so long now becomes their biggest strength.
And it is. And they have good position players, don't get me wrong.
Internal pitching. Well, Canario and Mervis, by the way, since we dropped that episode, Mervis has hit one and Canario's hit one. We should change this episode to some sort of Locked On Cubs, the Cozy and Olber prophecy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, we say it and it happens.
Coming up next, we preview...
And I like the Bears plus 3.5. If you're going to give me the hook, I'm taking it.
It's plus 3.5 now?
Yeah, moved up to 3.5, and Bet Online will be getting my business.
Okay, there you go. The Bears.
3 in the hook. Daniel Jones doesn't deserve a hook.
And the Giants, correct me if I'm wrong.
I talked to
real quick though. They don't actually play in New York, right?
It's going to be in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Right. So they're frauds.
Yeah.
After the break, we talk about myself.
Personally.
Going to the Cubs game on Wednesday.
I'll tease it. Something personal. Wink, wink.
Something personal.
Maybe it's a date.
Coming up next.
It's not.
We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Your first
not a
listen
date.
Every day. Thank you for joining us today. Sometimes it's hard for me to hear all of Sam's lines because I'm talking.
Yeah, well, I don't do a good job letting you finish because I'm anxious here. Because the first 2-3 minutes of the show, I feel like I'm being held hostage.
You're in a hostage situation.
All right, look, let me introduce this part of it because it's about you, you know?
Right.
I often identify myself as the biggest Cub fan that I know personally.
Mm-hmm.
And that holds true. However,
I was going to say many would not dispute that.
yeah, and I am, and I have a problem with that, and it's affected me socially. But never in my life would I think about going to Wrigley Field tomorrow night on a Wednesday night, middle of the week, 55 degrees, meaningless game, and you're going. Tell me why, and I'm not making fun of you. I commend you because I could never. Let me tell you, if you invited me to that game, you said just you and I, third row seats, no charge, I wouldn't go. I can't. I watch it on TV. I'll observe it for the show, but I can't. I'm not going to drive all the way down there for It's not meaningful baseball. So tell me your thought process. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Floor is yours.
So I'm going with a friend of mine who I also coach with. Shout out to TK.
TK,
And
shout him out.
He invited me about 3 weeks ago, and it's through his company's seats. So they're very good seats.
Sure.
I don't think I've sat this close since maybe I was in elementary school.
And that would be George W. Bush's administration.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Or Clinton, actually.
Oh wow, you're that old.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Didn't want to bail on that. Definitely wanted to keep that option open, keep that commitment.
It's awesome.
I am a little bit nervous about the temperature.
Is it a 2 hoodie situation
I think it's more of like a two long sleeve, or like a long sleeve and an Under Armour and a hoodie.
And who's pitching tomorrow?
Let's get the
lineup too. I'll guess it.
Wisniewski.
Oh, Wisniewski's throwing
against Nola. Really excited for Wisniewski.
Oh, hang on. If Wisniewski's throwing and you offered me, I'd go.
Would you really?
I would have gone. If I get a chance to watch a guy that's going to help us win the next world championship, then I'm going to go out and support him, just like I did when Killian pitched. When Killian was pitching,
you did go.
When Killian was pitching against the Cardinals, I was on my feet for the first 0-2 count.
I believe you. I'll do that out of spirit. I'll do that.
I didn't think Wisniewski was pitching. That's much better. Wait,
no, it's a game changer.
So it's going to be Wisniewski v. Nola.
Yeah, great.
Philly
matchup.
-165.
Oh, I didn't pull it up today.
Fine. No, that's fine. I can pull it up right now. Forgive me for thinking that you'd do that. My fault on that. That's good. Oh man, that's gonna be Philly You know what?
What are they a heavy favorite?
That's gonna be Philly -190.
Whoa!
And I said yesterday that Stroman was. You know what? I said on yesterday's show Stroman was being disrespected, and I should have taken the Cubs, and I didn't. Remember right. I said that?
I do.
And now Wisniewski's being disrespected.
He is by a lot, by the way. It's frustrating.
What? 190? Who's pitching for the Cubs? Swarmer?
I don't know.
Jeez, a 190 -190 on the road at Wrigley Field. Are you kidding?
So I'm going to give a full report on Friday's program. And so I'll give a full report. Maybe I'll take some photos.
Oh, really?
That'll be great.
If you want, you can do the now
from the stadium.
Wrigley. Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I'll plan to do that, especially if they are victorious.
Which Vegas doesn't think's possible, apparently.
-190? Even I know that's treacherous.
No, I was going to curse. But
malpractice?
I don't like it. I'm just going to say that.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube. Smash the like button and all your favorite Locked On Cubs content, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. And drop us a text, please, 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second the Locked On MLB podcast, where Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.